What's going on, my good people? It's your boy Jay Fry. Today we're outside in my small backyard garden where we're going to start to fertilize some of our tomato plants and also see if we can trim them up without damaging them. So hang out with your boy for a minute and check it out. Alright, so about a month ago we planted 5 different tomato plants. We did 3 of them in the ground and 2 of them in grow bags. So since then I hadn't did anything but add water, and plus we've been getting a lot of rain. So right now it's time for me to go ahead and start to fertilize them and see if I can trim them up the best I can without damaging them. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the 2 tomato plants that I have in the grow bag. And this one right here, this is a rainbow tomato. So this is one, if you remember when I first planted them, I was asking about the white stuff on the bark, and it started growing crazy. So it look like it's doing this thing. And right now, since the rain, this is the only little old blossom or fruit that I see coming out of that. So I'm gonna see if I can trim that up, which it won't be much trimming, but I'll just tie it up a little bit better. And then this one right here, this is a cherry tomato plant. It's an indeterminate plant as well. And it's just, I don't know, it's everywhere. So I'm gonna see if I can trim this up. It doesn't look as good as the cherry tomato plants in the ground. And that's probably because it's in the grow bag and you need to fertilize a little bit more, give it more nutrients in there. Let's go ahead and take care of these 2 first, and then we'll take a look at the ones that's in the ground. All right, so the first thing for me, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this mulch off the top of it. Now I probably don't really have to. I can probably just fertilize within the mulch and mix it up, but I wanna go ahead and move it. I don't have a problem with moving it. All right, so I went ahead and got a layer of this mulch removed so I can fertilize in here. But for now, I'm just, kind of taking a look at the tree or taking a look at the plant to see where I'm going to trim it up at. And I think because of the mulch with all of the rain, we didn't get as much damage, but some of them we do have some damage. But so I got some shears. These are some new shears. I just had to show them off. I ain't gonna front, I ain't have no good ones to come out here and trim, so I pretty much needed to wait till I got these. And I did go ahead and wipe these off and sanitize them. And I'll do that when I finish this one. I'll wipe them off again and move to the next tree. But for right now, the goal is to go ahead and remove some of the damaged leaves like this right here. All right, so I got my rainbow. I don't know if you can see it that good with that one in the way. So I got the rainbow tomato plant trimmed up just as much as I want to. I didn't have that much bad foliage on there, but I had enough that needed to be trimmed. So, and I know I need to go ahead and fertilize it because I think I'm gonna lose that one. So if I go ahead and get this fertilized and get it taken care of, I may win later on down the line. Let me go ahead and remove the mulch off of that one, and I'm gonna trim this up. Then I'm gonna show you guys what I'm going to fertilize with. But this one, compared to that rainbow tomato, this one is going pretty much everywhere, but it's got a bunch of damage, bunch of yellow leaves on it. So like I said, I don't know if it's because I hadn't fertilized or anything like that with it being in grow bags. We're getting too much rain. But you can see we do have some tomatoes growing on there. There's a little cluster right there, another cluster right here. So I won't do a lot of cutting on this one. I'm just gonna remove what I see is damaged and try to tighten these up and bring them a little bit closer. All right, so I got that one trimmed up pretty good, got all the yellow leaves removed. So now I'm just gonna, I don't know if I should do this or not, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm just gonna kind of tie them up, bring everything a little bit closer instead of having them spread out, touching each other. So give me a minute, let me knock that out. And all I'm using is just some of this twine. I don't know what it is, probably some hemp twine or something I ordered a while ago. All right, so we have our tomato plants tied up and trimmed up the best that we can. Hopefully we don't cause any damage right now. So I have a couple more things I'm gonna do, and then we'll be done with these 2 tomato plants in these grow bags. So the next thing I'm gonna do is fertilize, and I'm gonna use this tomato tone. I will tell you, I went to a couple of stores. I went to several stores actually to try to find this tomato tone, and I couldn't find it. So I went ahead and ordered it off of Amazon. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description if you want to try this, or you can use whatever fertilizer you got, I imagine. And this one here is a 346. So the reason I went out the way to try and find this one is because the last time I tried to grow tomatoes, I did have a little bit of a problem, whether it was just me caring for them, whether it was the soil, or whatever the case may be. So this time I want to see if I can give them a better chance, so I went with some that says it's to be made for the tomato plants. So I'm gonna add this, and then one more thing. All right, so I got my tomato tone put in, mixed in. I think I got enough of it in there. It should be enough, but I'll try to make sure I fertilize more often. And the next thing I'm going to add is I'm going to go ahead and top it off with some soil or with some compost. This is I don't even know if you can see that like that, but this is mushroom compost. So I figured I'd go ahead and start only adding mushroom compost to all of the grow bags. So that way I know, you know, in the future, hey, all of the grow bags, they have mushroom compost. Everywhere else, I might just use like a cheaper compost. But for right now, we're gonna use this mushroom compost. All right, so we got our mushroom compost on top. So we fertilized, added compost, the next thing or the last thing we're gonna do to this is put our mulch back. So I'll put the mulch back that was already in there, and then I'll add another fresh layer to it. All right, so we took care of the 2 tomato plants that we have over here in our grow bags, and you guys kind of seen how those were growing and producing. Now we're pretty much gonna do the same thing with the 3 that I put in ground. We'll take a look at those and see how much more they're growing, how much better they're doing. But it looks like I'm gonna have to trim them up a little bit more and maybe even lose some tomatoes that's already starting to grow, because I do have them planted pretty close together intentionally. So let's take a look at those before we fertilize and treat them. So check this out. I know it looks like one big old bush because we have them planted together, but there are actually 3 tomato plants, and only one of them is a determinate, which is this one. So I won't trim it as much. But the other 2, they are indeterminate, and all 3 of them are cherry tomato plants. But the same thing as with the other 2 in the grow bags, I hadn't did anything but just add water. But the growth is a little bit different because they are the same. But like this one right here, I let that get too far out of hand. Got a couple of tomatoes growing on it, but it's so low to the ground. And I believe because I got this mulch down, that may be the reason why it hadn't got a disease yet, or not as disease as bad as it looks. But so we still have a few tomatoes growing, it's producing. So let me go ahead and take care of this one, and then when we're done, we'll take a look at the results, and that way we can see where the tomatoes are growing and how they're growing. All right, so with these plants, I'm gonna pretty much do the same thing as the other. I went ahead and moved the compost. I went ahead and moved the mulch that was down there. I moved it around, and I actually removed some of it to make it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna start with this outside plant, and this is the one that has pretty much the most growth. So I'm gonna go ahead and start trimming this one up. Then I'll move to the back one, and then I'll see about trimming up this determinate one. And I'm kind of skeptical of trimming those because they only grow to a certain height or a certain amount, and then they stop producing. So I may only trim just a little bit of that one. Okay, so I pretty much got these 3 trimmed up and tied up, and I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the 2 in the grow bags. I'm just gonna add some fertilizer to it, kind of mix it in, then I add some compost. All right, so I got my tomato plants fertilized, trimmed, and tied up the best I could. Hopefully they don't go into shock too bad with all of the cuts I made, but overall I think it's gonna be all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the end results of the tomato plants that I cut, and I'm also gonna go ahead and show you some of the other plants that I planted at the same time as the tomato plants, which I'm gonna go ahead and fertilize today too off camera. So if you're still here with me, make sure to subscribe to the channel and help your boy grow. You know I appreciate it. All right, so right here in the in ground where I planted the 3 of them, this is how I look right now after trimming up all of them. I don't know if you guys remember how I looked at first, but it's a little bit cleaner. And I'm not going to add any new mulch right now until I fertilize the rest of them. But I want to show you this bush cherry tomato. We got a nice little old cluster in there. So we should be getting some cherry tomatoes pretty soon. Got some nice little old blooms right there. A couple of more. So I cut a few of the leaves off of the bottom of this one for sure. And this first one, this is a sweet cherry tomato, and it bushed up pretty good, but I had to do a lot of trimming. Not a whole lot of growth. Right here we got a little cluster we saw a minute ago, and it looks like it dropped a few of them. And then the one on the back end, same thing. I trimmed it up pretty good. Got a nice little old cluster right there. Another one right here. Then we got another one right there. Can you see it? Boom. So this is the same as that one, but this one is doing a whole lot better. And the thing about this area right here versus the grow bag, it's on the fence where it gets full sun, but I think around about 3 or 4 o'clock it gets shaded. So in the same bed at the same time, I planted everything pretty close, but I've dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bell pepper plants. So my bell pepper plants seem to be doing pretty good. I hadn't fertilized or did anything to those either. I only watered them. So this one got a little bit of growth on it. And the one that I figured that wouldn't make it is doing pretty good. And then we got one more. So I got a couple of bell peppers growing. Hopefully they make it. If I go ahead and fertilize them, we should be good. This one back here, I may have planted it a little too close, or I should have trimmed it, trimmed the tomato plants a whole lot sooner, because it was getting shaded for a while. This one right here pretty tight. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead today and remove this mulch, and I'm gonna fertilize these bell pepper plants with the same thing, with this tomato tone, I believe. And then I'll add some fresh compost on those, and then I'll probably just remulch this whole thing, I'm not sure. All right, then right here, these are the first 2 plants I did. This is a rainbow tomato, like I said. This is the only big tomato plant that I have that's gonna grow bigger tomatoes. And it's starting to take off since we had pretty nice size rain. But I believe because it's in this grow bag, like I said, I should have fertilized a whole lot sooner. Same thing with this sweet tomato. But this is the same as the other 2 over there. But it's putting on some tomatoes. We got a few little nice clusters on there. Even right here. So if we get some tomatoes, you know, anything is plenty. And I also, the same time I planted those, is a what's this? This is the eggplant. This is the only eggplant I had. And yeah, I didn't fertilize it neither. So I'm just letting it do its thing. I'm gonna come in and fertilize it today. Now, the bell peppers in the grow bags seem to be doing better than the bell peppers in the ground. So this is one in a 7-gallon, no, this is a 5-gallon bucket. And these bell peppers right here, they starting to do their thing. Only if they hold on. This is my first time planting bell peppers, so if I get one, you know I'm good to go. This is the second bell pepper plant. And this one is in a 7-gallon grow bag. And then in another 7-gallon grow bag, this is the 1 jalapeno pepper plant that I had. So it's actually time. That one can come off. That one can come off, so I can I guess so to produce more. I don't want to leave those on there, so those will come off today too. All right, so that's pretty much it. I appreciate you hanging out with me. If you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Holla at your boy.